So when the bats did come to Austin, we got a pretty good education from the bat conservation, so we know quite a bit about the bats. So I'll tell you a lot about them. Around 8:15 is the time they've been coming out lately. So well, they fly like this in formation. We'll sit like this. This is a great picture for you guys to get the city in the background. Do they stay in clumps to feed, or do they separate? They separate completely. Good question. They'll fly out because they're so small and they're virtually defenseless. So they will fly out together because they feel they have protection in numbers. Then they'll completely split up, hunt alone, and then come back alone. A little bit, this is the best view right now from a distance, because up close, like where all the other boats are, you are absolutely overwhelmed with what's in front of you. But here we have a view of everything that's going on. But we'll end up under the bridge and you'll get to see exactly what they're doing under the bridge also. And then if you look off in the distance where they're flying, look at that. Isn't that incredible?
How large did you say the colony is?
Between 750,000 and 1.5 million.
Is it silly or just nobody knows?
Well, you know, they've always said 1.5 million, approximately 1.5 million. But since this is primarily a female colony, it's kind of hard to determine because bats have a 50% chance of survival in their first year. So it's sort of hard to tell. Because they're not exactly reproducing exponentially, so it's kind of hard to tell, but they just stick with an average of 1.5 million. But this is 75% female, and each one of them will give birth.
So where is the male bat?
They actually live out in the hill country.
Out drinking beer.
I know, they're still in Mexico, man. It was like a spring break fling, and then they split. It was crazy. A little too much tequila, and the girls came up here to get away.
That's the time that you don't see them coming out. Where are
They
they?
migrate back down to central Mexico. Summer, have you guys seen any bats? And said, no, we just got out here. And he said, well, there's this horrible storm headed your way. You guys need to get out of there now. Refund their money if you have to. I'm sorry, you know, but you guys really need to get out of there. That conversation lasted less than a minute. Before we got off the phone, it looked like someone set fire to this bridge. All the bats were coming out of every single crevice up and down. And when I got into South Austin, it was still hailing down there too. So this hailstorm and this thunderstorm lasted a long time. The bats knew if they didn't get out, and every single one of them, right then and there, they weren't going to get to eat. So that was an incredible show. Nobody wanted their money back, because even I was standing there in awe, just with my mouth open. You'll see them moving around. You see some activity under each column or under each arch. And then you see over to the left, most of them are flying out that way. That's just part of their systematic departure. They're just organized, and then we have this little group here. They'll come out, but most of the time they stay in pretty large groups like that. Oh, did y'all see that? That bird flew. I was like, they spread apart.
Oh.
Yeah, they're hunted by quite a bit. Now, the biggest difference, the cliff swallows that we saw earlier, they're really tiny this one out. Get the water off and just hang out for a little bit, because they're so little and they have hair, so they're weighed down by the water, so they just have to dry off a little bit. Okay, I'm trying not to get you guys pooped on, so let me back up a little bit. Oh, sorry, bud. Couldn't get in reverse fast enough.
How far away from the bridge do they get? Yeah, get the wise and come back.
With this red filter, it's just really easy for us to see the bats, and it's unintrusive for the bats. It doesn't bother them, but we can still see them. So the bat conservation approves, and this spotlight can't be seen from outer space or anything, so it doesn't burn their fur, their eyes, like our competitors have, like I've overheard them telling people. Ridiculous. I mean, I might miseducate you about things about the city, but when it comes to the bats, you know, we try to be right on. I mean, I spread owl rumors, but, you know, when it comes to the bats, we really try to get our story straight, you know, the facts right. So they called animal control and bat conservation, and they all came out there, and now BCI owns that, but I was out of the country, which is the only reason I forgave my boss for it, but he's actually been out there to watch their departure. He says that because they're actually in a cave, so from the ground level, the guys, these